Hi dear friends, last videos we have studied male gamete formation, female gamete formation, pollination and how the pollen grains are stick on the stigma. So that is pollen pistil interaction. Next topic is pollen pistil interaction. Interaction of pollen grain with the stigma. It begins with the pollination and ends with the fertilization. From the deposition of pollen grain on stigma to the entry of pollen tube in the ovule. Pollen pistil interaction. Any wrong type of pollen grains is coming, then this is discarded by pistil. The pollen absorbs water and nutrients from the surface of stigma, germinate and produces pollen tube. The pollen tube pushed through the ovule and reaches the embryo sac. The tip of the pollen tube enters in ovule and ruptures to release the contents. See the process how it is working. So pollen grains are coming on the sticking on the stigmatic region. So here the deposition of pollen grains on the stigma. So this is the male organs and here this is the female organ, here the female gamete. And this pollen grain, many pollen grains will come and stick and they will absorb the water and nutrients from the stigmatic region. They will start to produce the pollen tube. Pollen tube enter through the style and it will enter to the female gametophyte. So that entry we studied, the different types of entry we'll see. Here this is known as pollination, transfer of pollen grains to stigma or to female reproductive structure, that is known as pollination, and till the end of fertilization, that is pollen pistil interaction. Then see here intense competition. So many pollen grains will come and stick on the stigma. 1 or 2 pollen grains can germinate. Only one pollen tube can enter through the style and to the female gametophyte through the micropyle or through integuments or different or chalaza, etc. So here this is the female gametophyte. It is a 7-celled and 8 nucleated structure. This is a diploid. This is 3 haploid here, 3 haploid. So these are the synergids at the center, egg cell, and here the pollen tube with the 2 male gametes. And here we can say the double fertilization. The fertilization in angiosperm is known as double fertilization. And why it is known as double fertilization and what are the products of double fertilization we'll see now. So it is discovered by the scientist name is Novasin Indeliaceae like Lilium and Fritillarium. And the main process of fertilizations are the porogamy, that is the gamete enter through the micropyle. Just now I told the entry of pollen tube through the micropyle, it is known as porogamy. If the pollen tube enter through the chalaza, it is known as chalasogamy. If it is enter through the integument, the outer covering of the ovule, that is mesogamy. And the non-motile male gametes that carry through pollen tube through the siphon, so it is known as siphonogamy. And the fusion of haploid male gamete and haploid female gamete and produce diploid gamete, it is known as syngamy. It's a generative fertilization. Syngamy. Syn means a union. A union of gametes, male gamete and female gamete united together to form diploid zygote, that is known as syngamy. And triple fusion. The second male gamete, that is haploid male gamete, and diploid secondary nucleus that is present in the female gametophyte at the center, that is diploid, and produce triple fusion, union of haploid male gamete and diploid secondary nucleus and produce triploid endosperm nucleus, triploid, that is PEN, primary endosperm nucleus. It is a type of vegetative fertilization. So triple fusion is vegetative fertilization, syngamy is generative fertilization. And coming to the next, see here the diagrams. Porogamy, the entry of gametes through the micropyle. Chalasogamy, the entry of pollen tube through the chalaza, through the base of the ovule. And the entry of pollen tube through the integuments, that is known as mesogamy. And here double fertilization definition. So what is definition? It is a fertilization in which 2 male gametes, that is the haploid male gametes, participate and fusion takes place at 2 places and 2 products are formed, that is zygote and endosperm. It is the characteristic of angiosperm. So here 2 male gametes and 2 products and that is at two places it takes place. So, and the two products are zygote and endosperms. And zygote is due to synchrony, and endosperm is formed after triple fusion. Then significance of double fertilization. It is a unique feature of angiosperm. Two male gametes involved in fertilization. Fertilization takes place at two places. Two products are forming zygote and endosperm. The diploid zygote develop into an embryo. Triploid endosperm nucleus form. Triploid fusion, the endosperm nucleus form. It restores diploid condition. It also helps to avoid polyembryony. So these are the significance of double fertilization, and it is a characteristic of angiosperm. See here, double fertilization, pollen grains are coming and stick on the stigma. They produce pollen tube. Pollen tube carry the male gamete. Male gametes are immobile. So this is known as siphonogamy, and it is coming either through the chalaza or through the integument or through the micropyle. And if it is coming normally through the micropyle, the pollen tube will burst open and it will release us two male gamete. One male gamete fuse with the female gamete and produce a zygote, that is diploid. Another male gamete fuse with the secondary nucleus and form triploid endosperm nucleus. So these are the two products, and two places the fusion takes place, and two male gametes are participating. So it is double fertilization. Then after fertilization, what happened to the ovules or inside the ovule? Then post fertilization changes, so many changes will be there. That is ovary part converting to fruits, that we study afterward. Ovule converting to seed. Here inside the seeds or inside the ovule, post fertilization changes, that is inside the female gametophyte, development of endosperm and development of embryo. So development of endosperm, we'll see first. These are three types of endosperm formation. First one is nuclear type. It is most common type found in angiosperms. Nucleus repeatedly divide mitotically without wall formation. So here nuclear endosperm you see, that is primary endosperm nucleus. After the fusion of second male gamete with the secondary nucleus, this primary endosperm nucleus undergoes continuous mitotic division and free nucleus form and without any cell formation. This is known as nuclear endosperm. Finally endosperm will form. Here the embryo formation takes place. So primary endosperm nucleus divides repeatedly to form a large number of free nuclei. No cell plate formation takes place at this stage, and a central vacuole appears later. And it is followed by cell plate formation, which is centripetal. It is the most common type of endosperm. Example, cotton, maize, capsula, coconut, wheat, etc. So this is the type of nuclear endosperms. The next one is, that is cellular type of endosperms. From the term itself, we can understand the cellular type, cell wall formation. So division of triploid primary endosperm nucleus, that is immediately followed by wall formation. So endosperm is cellular right from the beginning. See here, that is primary endosperm nucleus after triple fusion undergoes mitotic division and immediately the wall form between the two nuclei. And here continuous mitotic division. After each division the cell formation takes place, and here cellular endosperm takes place, and inside the embryo you can see. So cell formation occurs immediately after division. Subsequent division also accompanied by cell plate formation. As a result, the endosperm becomes cellular from the beginning. Example, balsam, petunia, barley, grasses, petunia, and utricularia, that is second times repeated, and coconut, that is copra, we can say. Cellular endosperms. Third one is halobial type. What is in the halobial type? So here both are mixed, nuclear as well as cellular. It is mostly present in monocotyledons. First division of primary endosperm nucleus is followed by a transverse wall, that is cell wall formation takes place, which divide the cell unequally. Then the nuclei in each cell divide by free nuclear division and walls develops. So here, that is primary endosperm nucleus divides one large cell and one small cell, chalazial cell and micropylar cell, and wall formation takes place between these two. and free nuclear division takes place, that is nucleotide. Then after the free nuclear division, then the cell formation takes place in between. So here this is known as halobial type. Intermediate about two types, that is members of order halobials, monocot. That is intermediate between nuclear division and cellular endosperm formation. First division is cellular, that is wall formation follows the first division. However, inside each of these newly formed cell, free nuclear division occurs, but finally the endosperm becomes cellular following the pattern of development of nuclear endosperm. So these are the three types of endosperm formation, that is nuclear division, cellular division and a halobial type of endosperm formation. Then coming to next, development of embryo, that is embryogenesis. Here, after the fusion of male gamete with a female gamete, the zygote will form. Zygote undergoes mitotic division and form basal cell and a terminal cell. And here again the mitotic division continuously form and they will form the suspensor. And here that is a stem tip and a cotyledons will form. And here this is the octant stage, and here postorium and the suspensor and embryo formation takes place. That is here, that is a peribulum, pleurome, these are the cells formation. And here the dicot embryo develops. Development of dicot embryo, the process, that is a stepwise. Embryo formation starts after a certain amount of endosperm is formed. The embryo is developed at the micropylar end of embryo cell, because the fusion takes place between egg cell or female gamete and a male gamete takes place near the micropylar end. Zygote divides by mitosis to form a proembryo. Formation of globular and heart-shaped embryo occurs, which finally become horseshoe-shaped mature embryo. So that is, here you can see the horseshoe shape. This is the shape. Finally, this type of shape you can see. And here, in dicot plants, embryo consists of two cotyledons, that is why it is not dicot, and an embryonal axis between them. The portion of embryonal axis above the level of attachment of cotyledon is epicotyle and it terminates into plumule. Plumule develop into stem. The portion of embryonal axis below the level of attachment of cotyledon is hypocotyle. It becomes radicle. Radicle develop into root tip. Development of monocot embryo. See, little different from dicot embryo. Stages of development of monocot embryo, such as in rice. In monocot embryo, single cotyledon occupies terminal position and plumule is lateral. And a single shield-shaped cotyledon is called scutellum. The protective sheath of plumule is called coleoptile, and the protective sheath of radicle is known as coleorhiza. See here in the diagram. So here oospore, that is zygote, suspensor formation, and here continuous mitotic division. And here instead of horseshoe shape, the shape will be here, it will form, and only one cotyledon will be present here, and a radicle develop into root system and the plumule develop into shoot system. And here the complete embryo you can see here. This cotyledons, this is the shoot apex. The shoot apex means that is covered by coleoptile. That protective layer of shoot apex, that is a plumule, is coleoptile. And here that is a root cap, that is root apex, is protected by coleorhiza. Coleorhiza and coleoptile is the peculiarity of monocot embryo. And scutellum, that is the cotyledon. Cotyledon is otherwise known as scutellum, and one cotyledon is present, so it is known as monocot. Then next, after fertilization, what happened to the ovary parts? That is, ovary develop into fruits and ovule develop into seed. Inside the seed you saw now, that is endosperm and embryo. And fruit formed without fertilization is called parthenocarpic fruits. This is 11th standard. Again you have studied banana and seedless varieties of grapes. Fruits are mainly two types. True fruits, if it is developing from ovary, that is example mango. False fruits, that is developing from other than ovary, that is apple, example. So typical fruit, true fruits, this all is studied in 11th standard, just revision. It is developed from ovary. The fruit developed from ovary, example mango, it is single seeded fleshy fruits. Fruit covering is called pericarp. This is the pericarp. 1, 2, 3 layer pericarp. And the fruit covering is called pericarp. Inside pericarp, seed is present. Pericarp is classified into made up of 3 layers. That is, outer skin is known as epicarp. Then the middle one is a mesocarp and inner one is endocarp. Epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp together known as pericarp fruit wall. Inside seed is present. So this is the structure of typical fruit. Example, mango. False fruit, example, apple. The fruit developed from thalamus. In the case of apple, the edible portion is developing from thalamus. What is thalamus? Thalamus is the region from where the floral buds are arising. That's the basal part of the flower. So here the thalamus is edible, and actually this is the seed developing from the ovule, and this cartilaginous tissue, this part is known as the ovary. So here endocarp you can see and mesocarp. So this edible portion is developing from thalamus. And parthenocarpic fruit, that is example banana, fruit forms without fertilization. The small black color structure you can see inside the banana, that is the abortive ovule, wild banana seeds we can say, and a thin outer skin, juicy inner skin, and cultivated banana, endocarp, mesocarp, epicarp. Here aborted seeds, that is the black color structure you can see inside the banana. This is known as parthenocarpic fruit, fruit form without fertilization. The next seed, inside the fruit, the seed development from ovule, seed developed from ovule, fruit developed from ovary. Structure of seed, it consists of distinct covering, outer seed coat testa, inner seed coat tegmen. In some cases, nucellus persist and form papery thin layer structure called perisperm. Seeds are classified into endospermic, it is otherwise known as albuminous, that is monocot, example coconut, maize, etc. That is a dicot, example castor. Castor oil is extracting from here, and monocot, that is a coconut, you can see the endosperm, that is the edible portion. And non-endospermic, that is exalbuminous, example pea, beans, etc. So here the cotyledons become edible, and here the endosperm will be edible. So endospermic, non-endospermic. Here the bean seed you can see. See, these are the cotyledons. So cotyledons are edible, and you can see the epicotyl, hypocotyl, radicals, etc. and these 2 cotyledons. Then this is the non-endospermous seed. The endosperm is completely absorbed by the developing embryo here. So cotyledon become fleshy and edible. So this is endospermous seed, that is castor, that is caruncle, radicle, tegmen, and the testa. Testa is the outer seed coat, tegmen is the inner seed coat, endosperm is present, cotyledons. And structure of monocot seed. So here you can see the structure of monocot seed, that is endosperm, endospermous seed, monocot, that is a maize, etc. The endosperm is edible, and here you can see that is scutellum, that leads the cotyledon, coleoptile, that is a covering of plumule, and coleorhiza covering of radicals, etc. See here, next topic is apomixis. What is apomixis? Formation of embryo through asexual method of reproduction without formation of gametes. That is 2 types. Apogamy, when the gametophyte organ produces embryo without fertilization, and apospory, when diploid sporophyte cell produces diploid gametophyte without undergoing meiosis. Normally sporophyte have to undergo meiosis for the formation of the spore, but here no meiosis. Apogamy, gametes are fusing and form the zygote. Here no gamete formation, so directly from the gametophyte the embryo develop. That is apogamy, from the gametophyte, apospory from the sporophyte. Here next is recurrent apomixis. Embryo sac generally rise either from an archisporial cell or from some other parts of the nucellus. Non-recurrent apomixis, in this type, megaspore mother cell undergoes usual meiotic division and a haploid embryo sac is formed. This embryo arises either from the egg by parthenogenesis or from other haploid cells of gametophyte through apogamy. You know the structure of female gametophyte. See here, that is the embryo arises either from the egg or parthenogenesis or from haploid cell gametophyte through apogamy. That is Nicotiana. Polyembryony, that is development of more than one embryo inside the seed and this condition is known as polyembryony. It was noticed by Leeuwenhoek in the seeds of Citrus genus. It is of two types: adventive embryony, embryo developed directly from the diploid cells of nucellus and integument; cleavage polyembryony, that is zygote proembryo divides into many parts or units, each unit develop into embryo, that is cleavage embryony. So here the example polyembryony, you can see the embryo cell differentiation and mature embryo cell. This is a zygote, embryo and endosperm development. Monoembryonic seed formation, here from zygote one embryo developing and seedlings are forming here. But in the case of polyembryony, that is here the nucellar embryonic initial cells are formed. From the nucellus the embryo formation takes place. See, nucellar embryo, adventitious embryo development, and polyembryonic seed formation, polyembryonic seedling formation. So more than one seedling can produce here. Other than embryo, this nucellar embryos also develop into new seedlings. Then what are the significance of fruit and seed formation? Fruit provide nourishment to the developing seeds. Fruit protect the seed in immature condition. Seed serves as important propagating organ, that is units of plant. Seed and fruit develop special devices for their dispersal and thus help in the distribution of the species. And dormancy. Next one is dormancy, that is resting period of seeds. During adverse environmental conditions, seeds undergo dormancy. So even after fertilization, fruit formation, seed formation takes place, and the seed does not develop immediately. So it undergoes some resting period, that is known as dormancy. That is maybe due to some environmental condition or some internal, that is inhibitory factors. The structural or physiological adaptations are present for the survival of the seed. Mature and viable seed will not germinate even in the presence of favorable condition. It may be because of different reasons such as thick seed coat, so the seed coat will not be break easily, hormonal imbalances, immature embryo. Seeds are dispersed at different places and they germinate only after completion of dormancy period. So this is the video, and this much you have studied in the first chapter, that is reproduction in lower and higher plants in HSC board 12th standard. And whatever doubt you can comment on that. And thank you for watching. Thank you.